Yo, 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 what's good with it, y'all? It's your boy Lamborghini Preem back once again talking this boxing shit. And of course, as always, make sure you check out my all new album, It's My Turn, the Throne Ascension LP. It's a motherfucking classic all the way around. You can find it right now on my official site, hustlegameboss.com. You can also find it on that's iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. Big shout out to Tidal. Pandora. Big shout out to Pandora. It's also on YouTube. Literally any outlet you so choose. You just type in the Supreme General while you enjoying it, and I shall appear. With that being said, also make sure you hit up hustlegameboss.com/shop and get your official Supreme General merchandise today, baby. As soon as you cop some, you know what I mean? If you wear it, you put it, throw up an Instagram picture or whatever, twit pic, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You do something like that and you tag me in it, or I see it come across my timeline for whatever reason, I will salute you and shout you out because I really appreciate those who appreciate me. That's really big to me, you know what I mean? I really do. So with that being said, let's get on to this video. This video is regarding my post-fight thoughts after the recent fight between Adrien Broner and Jessie Vargas. Now I done watched this fight about 6-7 times, and the first time I watched it, I saw it as much closer than the subsequent times that I saw it. With every time that I watch it after that, it becomes more and more clear that Broner won the fight. I saw it from two different angles. I saw the fight from the Showtime angle, of course, their broadcast, their telecast rather. And I also saw one of those YouTube videos from somebody who was in the arena and with no sound, just basically the crowd and what was going on from whatever angle they were sitting at. And that was a little bit better of a vantage point. I got to see a little bit more. And with that, I noticed that Jessie was just missing a lot of shots. He was throwing hella shots, but he was missing a lot too. It was basically outside of the body shots, man. He wasn't really landing too tough on Broner. So we all know Broner's not exactly, when he feel like he got you or he can take your power, he doesn't do a lot of moving. You know what I'm saying? When he's unsure about your power, like versus John Molina, you know, he might move around more, but in this fight he didn't move much. And what I saw is he let Jessie Vargas basically shoot his load the first 4 or 5 rounds. It was almost a clean sweep. On my original scorecard, I had the first 6 rounds going 5-1 Jessie, and then the subsequent 6 rounds going all to AB. And that's had Broner winning by 1 round, 7-5, you know what I'm saying? Which made the draw something that you really couldn't be mad at, or at least I couldn't be mad at, because there's a lot of swing rounds in that fight, you know, just based off my first time watching it. But then when I saw the subsequent angles and just looking at the fight over and over again a couple different other times, it made my scorecard a lot more wide, because I gave Jessie less credit for just the activity. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how the announcers really can influence your decisions and shit. And when I was listening to the announcer, Al Bernstein in particular, Al Bernstein is usually on point. He's usually absolutely, like, just very informative, always on point, very unbiased, absolutely unbiased usually. And that just wasn't the case here. I noticed that a few years ago when Broner fought Paulie, I noticed Al Bernstein was a little biased, and then shortly thereafter, Al Bernstein did like a fighter profile on Broner after that, and he basically said he still hadn't proven anything to him, even though the man had came up 2 weight classes to win a world title after utterly dominating the 130, 135 divisions. So, I mean, it's whatever. Obviously, Al Bernstein don't like Broner for whatever reason, you know, who cares, who knows, but I didn't like that. I didn't like the blatant favoritism. It borderlined on Jim Lampley level of favoritism for Vargas. You know what I mean? This guy, Bernstein, was doing everything short of cheerleading for Jessie Vargas as far as giving him rounds later in the fight. Because in my opinion, the later the fight got, with the exception of the 12th round, Jessie Vargas got his ass thoroughly whooped. It was clear who won those rounds. And even in the 12th, I thought Broner did more than Vargas did to win the round. I mean, Vargas looked hurt. He was doing a lot of retreating. His punches were not effective, and he wasn't controlling shit in the ring after round 6. So, I mean, after round 6, round 5, you know what I mean? He wasn't controlling shit in the ring. So I don't know. I mean, I know it's 4 different ways you can score points in a boxing match. That's offense, defense, and you can I mean, you can hit the guy, you can land your punches, you can land a head shot, land a body shot, and you can land on the sides. But shots to the back of the head, shots to the back don't count. Those, I mean, that's activity, but it doesn't count as landed punches. And it's other, I mean, basically everything Vargas was doing, the only time he was really landing like flush or good shots was body shots, and they were few and far between too. So like I was saying, it's a few different ways that you can score points in boxing, but I didn't know one of them being just activity. You know, activity is good, but that's not enough for me. Yeah, that activity shit it's not enough for me. I don't give guys credit just for being active. It has to be effective activity or effective aggression. You got to be actually doing something that controls the other guy, not just throwing. Because Paulie did the same thing with Broner. I didn't think he won that fight. People were saying he won that fight. The fight was close. It wasn't close on my scorecard. Paulie got 4 rounds maybe, just like Jessie got. I mean, after subsequent watches, I gave him 4 rounds. After the first time I watched it, I gave him 5 rounds. I'll give him that. Because, I mean, hey, in the moment, that's how it looked. You know, I wasn't there. I didn't have the benefit of seeing a lot of those shots get rolled and picked off by Broner's glove and his defense and shit, which is a lot better than I expected, man, because Vargas was landing on Tim Bradley. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't winning, but he was landing on Tim Bradley. You know what I mean? So that means a lot. And I hold Tim Bradley in high esteem when he's not fighting Manny Pacquiao. When Bradley fights Pacquiao, then he becomes like a fan, and I don't like that shit, man. He just became there was some weird shit going on with that shit. Ever since that first fight they had, them other 2 matches, man, that shit was, I mean, all I'm gonna say is I didn't like the way Bradley carried himself. He didn't really carry himself like a warrior who wanted to win. He carried himself more like a fan who was cool with losing, and I didn't like that. But when he fought Vargas, he was in it to win it. You know what I'm saying? Vargas caught him at the end, but Vargas was doing his thing though. He was touching Bradley, but he wasn't winning the fight. You know what I mean? It's the same thing here, except the difference is he wasn't touching AB as much as he touched Bradley. You know? Now the thing though, the only reason in my opinion the fight even looked as close as it did is because AB let him in the fight. I believe that AB was a little traumatized from them L's he took, you know what I mean? And I also believe that the Mikey Garcia fight in particular showed him that he could be hurt in the fight. I believe he was hurt in that fight a few times. And I believe he was hurt off jabs too, because Mikey is a puncher. He does not get the credit for it because he's a small guy, but he's a puncher, a huge puncher, a real outsized puncher. They said, Robert Garcia and them said he hit harder than Maidana. At first, I thought, yeah, that's definitely some bullshit. And I still kind of think that's bullshit. He may not hit harder than Maidana, but I think it's definitely comparable because he got Broner respect early and often in that fight. So I get that to him. But because of that, that's why Broner keeps his hands in his pockets a lot because, you know, normally he would counter these guys or would throw a counter, it would leave him open, and he can't afford for a guy who's as skilled as a Mikey Garcia. And when you've been fighting high-level comp like that, like Broner's last 4 or 5 opponents have been high-level guys for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Granados, high-level guy. Porter, you know what I'm saying? These guys are all high-level guys, man. He ain't really had no cakewalks in a while. Not since the Theopain fight. And even that wasn't easy, you know. But Broner made it harder than he had to. He could have really handily disposed of Jessie Vargas, and I would have really loved to have seen that. But he just He kept his hands in his pockets just in case. You know what I'm saying? It felt like towards the end of the fight, that's when he started going back to being the old AB. Like he started realizing not necessarily that this guy can't hurt me. It's just that I'm strong enough to do this. I can do this. I can take these chances and probably won't get caught. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Mikey Garcia, you got to fight more conservatively because Mikey has excellent timing. He's a stellar boxer. And he's a puncher. So he can catch you some other shit and, you know, be able to hurt you from those shots. But a guy like Vargas, you know, Vargas is a hell of a boxer too, but he's not Mikey Garcia, you know. So that's the reason why I think the fight was even close in the first place, because Broner was afraid due to his losses to let his hands go. But I believe towards the end of the fight, he started to develop, well, not with towards the end of the fight, just with every round that passed after the fifth round, his confidence grew and grew and grew and grew. You know what I'm saying? And he looked real good because of it. The only thing I say is he just got to work a little harder in the gym, or not work a little harder, just be a little bit more consistent with subsequent training camps when they come back to back like that, because those training camps can, if you stay working, you stay looking good, you stay sharp, you look like Tank looked. This Tank looked damn good in his fight. You know what I mean? But with that being said, man, Broner just got to work a little harder in the gym. I just think you got to stay more consistent, fight more than once a year, at least twice a year. You're a young guy. You only got a couple more years of your prime left. I say you got maybe 2-3 more years left on top of this year. So I would love to see Broner take at least 6 fights. And 6 fights between now and then. You know what I mean? And I think he can win all of them. I feel like he could definitely become champion at 140 again. 147 would be a taller order. But I don't know, man. I don't know. If I was Broner, I'd stay away from 147 for now. You know, I believe he's going to grow into being a welterweight, but right now, as the landscape as it is, you got a lot of guys who are really, really big at welterweight that would just be too big for AB, you know? So if I was him, I'd stop fucking with the 144 catch weight. I understand why it had to happen in the last fight, but for this fight, go down to 140 and either challenge for a title or challenge somebody big, a big name. I don't really want to see Broner fight a guy who's been fighting at 147 for a long time and then suck him down to 140. I don't want to see that. Unless the guy wants to fight and wants to do that. That's different. But if he gets, you know, some other shit, nah. I don't want to see that. I want to see Broner stay at 140 and only go to 144 for a fight against a guy like a Sean Porter or some shit like that. You know, if that's not the case, then he needs to stay his ass at 140, go get him a title, maybe even collect 2-3 titles, become unified again, get his respect back. Rematch Mikey Garcia, and win or lose, go out on the shield like a G. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want to see from my man AB. And with that being said, man, I'm on to the next, man. I'm out this bitch, man. Holla at me. I'm back. 100.